Hey everybody, what's up? Chad Wesley Smith here for Juggernaut Training Systems. I'm joined today by Mr. Otavio Sousa, three-time IBJJF World Champion in the gi, three-time Pan Am Champion, five-time Brazilian National Champion. How you doing, brother?
Very good, man.
Thanks for joining me today. So we're going to be talking about the best back training for Jiu Jitsu. So when I'm talking about the back, I'm talking about the upper back, lats, rhomboids, rear delts. And back strength is one of the most important things you can have for Jiu-Jitsu because there's just so much pulling involved, and staying tight to your opponent is going to involve the back, and so much of the back training is also heavily intensive on the grip, and of course your grips are so important for Jiu-Jitsu. So Otavio, do you have anything that you've really done you think that's been useful for training your back?
Like I try to do like a lot of like, how can I say, body weight.
Body weight, yeah.
Yes, those exercises.
How many pull-ups do you think you can do the most?
15 maybe.
Yeah. Is that when you were back in Brazil before you came to the US, do you guys lift weights much ever?
I used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just out those beach. They have the gyms at the beach, and you just go and do some pull-ups, and then go to the beach a little bit, and yeah, that's a good day, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So we're going to show you exercises for explosive strength in the back, maximal strength endurance, and then some ways that you can make sure you're keeping your shoulders healthy through a lot of hard back training and hard jiu-jitsu training. All right, so the first strength quality we're looking to develop in the back is explosive strength. So, whether you're having to pull hard on an opponent's sleeve or collar, just being able to grind slow against them isn't necessarily going to be effective when you're trying to make an explosive pass or a sweep. So the explosive strength qualities of the back will be very, very important. Now, pull-ups and chin-ups, those are likely going to be sort of the foundation of most athletes' back training, and it's going to develop your grip well, as well as total strength through the back and shoulders. And once you're strong enough, you can then use the pull-up as an explosive strength exercise by doing the clapping pull-up, which I'm sure that you'd love to see me demonstrate, but instead we're going to have Otavio do a couple of reps of clapping pull-ups. Just like 3 reps would be good. So just like that, he's pulling himself up explosively, hands are letting go, clapping, grabbing the bar again. If you don't feel comfortable to go all the way to the clap, even just having your hands leave the bar for a second, or doing chin-ups and switching to pull-up grip, going over under, pulling and switching your grip. A lot of different variations that you can build in for explosive pull-ups. So clapping pull-ups are sort of the coolest looking one, but a lot of different options. And if you're not strong enough to do that yet, you could do a jumping pull-up where you're getting a little bit of assistance from your legs to help you get above the bar enough for you to release your hands and maybe even release your hands and clap. The other exercise that we're going to use for explosive upper body pulling strength, the explosive back strength, is going to be the single arm rope row. So the clapping pull-up is great as a vertical pulling variation, but really a lot more of the pulling that you do in jiu-jitsu is going to be more horizontal in nature, as you're trying to pass someone's guard, pulling on their sleeves, pulling on their collar. It's not so much overhead pulling, even though that is going to be great for general back strength. The single arm rope row is going to develop unilateral strength, pulling one arm at a time, grip strength through that horizontal pulling motion. All right, so the single arm rope row, we're looking to explosively pull ourselves with one hand. In that little time where you float, you're going to switch, catch with the other hand, control yourself on the way down, then pull with that arm, switch and catch with the other hand. Depending on how strong you are will be how upright you want your torso to be. If you're have really great relative strength to body weight, you can lay very flat and do this. If you're not as strong, you might need to be a bit more upright. So Otavio is going to do a couple reps here. If you have access to it, rope climbs are also a really great option. If you're in a wrestling gym or a gymnastics gym, CrossFit gym, and you can climb as fast as you can for time. But if you don't have that long rope where you can climb up to the ceiling, this is a great option in place of it. All right, so we talked about building explosive strength in the back. Now we're going to be talking about building maximal strength. So of course, maximal strength is going to carry over to every other type of strength quality, explosive strength, strength endurance, going to be beneficial in injury prevention. So when we're looking at training the back heavy, A very simple, effective exercise is going to be the barbell row. In all of the jiu-jitsu athletes that I've trained, multiple black belt world champions like Otavio, Romulo Barral, Felipe Pena, the bent over barbell row is an exercise that, anecdotally, I saw a very high correlation between strength in this exercise and jiu-jitsu success. Now, that's not saying, that if you go out and you train to become the barbell row world champion, that you're also going to be black belt jiu-jitsu world champion, but it is an exercise maybe worth putting a little bit extra attention to. So just go ahead, maybe like 6 reps. So I think it's such a great exercise for jiu-jitsu because it has the isometric strength of holding your posture while also pulling and making sure that we're engaging the lats hard, and it's building grip strength. So you can train the barbell row just like that in the traditional way that Otavio was doing. You could do the pendlay row where the bar is set on the ground. You pull from this dead stop and put the bar down. That's going to kind of bridge the gap a little bit between maximal strength and explosive strength. You can train this for reps as low as maybe 3 to 5 reps per set, up to 15 to 20 reps per set. You can go overhand grip, underhand grip. If you want to over/under, switch your hands up that way. A lot of different options for you to add a little bit of variation through this very foundational exercise. Another great exercise for maximal strength in the upper back, so the lats and rhomboids, as well as the grip, is going to be the dumbbell row. While that bent over barbell row is great and the barbell lends itself to a little bit more overloading, it can also be a bit more stressful to the low back, having to hold that isometric position. So if you struggle with some low back issues, the dumbbell row may be a better option for you, as you can take a little bit of stress off of that with a staggered stance. You could also do chest supported rows with dumbbells or barbell on the chest supported row machine. But Otavio is going to show a couple reps here in the single arm dumbbell row. So he's using the rack to support himself, keeping a good back angle, and pulling the weight back to his hip. Even let your shoulder come down a little bit more. So also, as you're doing a single arm dumbbell row, you can add a little bit more movement with it. You could take the rack away and just stabilize here. You could put your arm on your leg. You can add more rotation of the trunk. A lot of options that you can do here. It's an exercise that's really great for about that 8 to 20 rep range. Make sure that you're squeezing the dumbbell hard in your hand. Make sure you're building grip strength along with back strength. So weighted pull-ups, weighted chin-ups, that's going to be a great option to continue building maximal upper body strength. Once you've gotten past the point where you can do over 10, 12, 15 reps with just your body weight, then adding weight and getting into lower rep sets, more strength development rep ranges like 3 to 6, 3 to 8 reps is going to be a good option. So Otavio's got a 50-pound weight vest on here. He's going to do a couple reps. He's doing a great job pulling his chest all the way up to the bar, staying tight, not letting his body swing. This is a great exercise too, where you can add small variation: double overhand grip, double underhand grip, over/under, holding onto a rope or a gi. People really, a lot of jiu-jitsu competitors like to hang the gi from the pull-up bar and do pull-ups off of the collar, which can definitely have its place. If you're using this exercise for maximal strength in the upper back, you probably don't want to let your grip be the limiting factor. So while doing pull-ups off of the gi is certainly a good option, when you're training just to get your back as strong as possible, you want to move the heaviest weight possible, and the gi is probably going to limit that a little bit. So I'd save that for more of a strength endurance or a special strength exercise. So the next strength quality we're looking to develop for the back is strength endurance. And strength endurance for the back is fairly simple to train. You just do the exercises we've already shown for higher reps. Like I mentioned, because so much of the back training is really grip intensive, exercises like pull-ups from a rope or pull-ups holding onto a gi are maybe not the best option for maximal strength development because they limit the amount of weight that you can move, but they could be a great exercise for strength endurance. depending on what sort of discrepancy there is between your back and grip strength. Another exercise that we really like, if you have access to it, is an arm over arm rope pull. You can buy like a long tug of war rope online or from like a boat supply store and hook that up to a sled, and you're just pulling for as long as you can. That's really going to burn up the grip. It's going to burn up the back. It's a great exercise. If you have multiple setups like that, you can be competitive with your training partners to see who can pull the furthest and the fastest and the longest. So arm over arm rope pull is a great option for strength endurance for the back, but also just training high reps on dumbbell rows, maximum reps in a minute, maximum reps with a given weight, a heavy weight, sets to failure. Those are all great. Maximum rep pull-ups, all great options. So the last piece of back training that we want to look at is injury prevention. So you're training a lot of hard jiu-jitsu, your shoulders are going to get beat up, and a lot of this back training can be pretty tough on the shoulders as well, particularly the overhead stuff like pull-ups and chin-ups. So we need to make sure that you have great scapular mobility and stability, and a very simple exercise for that is the IYT, and that's going to be a scapular contraction, or a scapular retraction, and then moving your shoulders while in that retracted scapular position. So Otavio is going to lay on his stomach on the bench here. Very light weights is appropriate for this. We're pinching the shoulder blades together, then I, straight out, then pinch it together again, Y's, yeah, a little bit more in front of you, there you go. And then T, straight out to the side, good. Let's do one more rep of each. Straight out, I, Y, good, T. All right, relax. So that's an exercise that you don't need to use very much weight for, if any weight at all. Something simple to put into your warm-up, maybe with no weight or very light weight in the warm-up for 10 to 15 reps for each letter, each I, Y, and T, or you could train a little bit heavier as part of your training session, for maybe 5 to 10 reps per letter. Just make sure that you're doing every letter correctly, retracting the scapula, then making the letter, then protracting, retracting, make the letter. So be very precise with each rep. All right, so thanks for watching. Those were some of our best back training tips for jiu-jitsu competitors. We're looking to develop explosive strength, maximal strength endurance, all the while keeping great mobility, stability, and health through the shoulder girdle, through all this hard training. Thank you to multiple-time world champion Otavio Sousa for joining us. He is the head instructor at Gracie Baja Huntington Beach. So if you're here in beautiful Southern California, go check it out. He'll beat you up a couple times just like he does me. Great group, a lot of hard training to be had there. Otavio, thanks, brother.
Thank you so much.
Make sure, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time.